Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Freaking yo. Go Deep, episode 94. Hey, you like me rhyming? That's how I rap. So check this out, y'all. I am sure if you saw the intro, you know what the hell this is about. Me and my dog Kojay, we went in. Definitely went in. We started out a little slow, kinda, but give it some time, you'll understand what the freak we're talking about. So gonna be a little bit of talking right here, and maybe just one song today because me and Kojay talked for like an hour and 50 minutes. So let's get out of here and let's get into the interview. Drop one song real quick, then we're going straight in. Yeah, bitch.
Okay. The Jizza. Tony Touch Classic. You know what I'm saying? We gon' bang y'all in the head one time. Blaze up on y'all one time real fast.
Do the mix on that shit. Make it a record real quick. Do your thing. Yeah, hook it up. Alright, make it a record. Get down with me on
I
this.
take y'all niggas straight beneath the surface to the core. If it ain't raw, it's worthless. Pen tab professional, hold of ink. Wild river raps fall off the raft and sink. Tony let a brother touch, 20 bar rush. The way we push through equivalent, the rocket thrust. A large just, I lay it for the mixtapes. Quick the Quaker label me. The sound came out of rusted crate. Surrounded by cobwebs, beat smooth enough to slide through like bobsleds. On a cold white snow, plus with the right flow. Wu-Tang niggas, they shine and make the mic glow.
You killing no gorilla in with all that screw facing. Pacing back and forth looking savage. Stop. Whether plugged in or plugged out. I ain't good mugged or thugged out. Blooded or blood out. Some was bugged out. Might look at you and slice you. Buck 50 face stupid in shape of a Nike swoop. Who the fuck you think let y'all wild niggas in, allow you to put down your guns and raise your pen? Rule a zigzag zig, we don't fuck with no pig. We teach the kids, you rather have a bullet or word to your wig. Murder rates increases, bullet holes the size of 50-cent pieces. Don't worry about the weed or pussy, I read books. I'm liable to make your king with 3 books. You see the Wu devil, you raise the black fist. Maybe Tony Touch Concord needle will scratch this. The ice cube link you bought from the Jew for 80 G's was only appraised at 42. Gazed upon by the eyes of multitude of people who would trade gold for food. I heard boys head kill more than nuclear wars had. Was 3 sons who walk around dressed in all red. Bobby Dizzy said if you ever in Compton or Long Beach, break my son's Doc Doom in crisis with a nice piece. Penetrate on mixtape with the legislation, illustrate constant elevation, spark friction, Shawshank, golden on redemption, endorsed by the master inscription signature. Off top, my unorthodox style of attack. It's like Hannibal, rolling on elephant's back. Pack a long barrel, busting off strong ammo. My light so vast, I cast 20-foot shadows. First family, 5th capo, micro to macro. Loaded in your head, play it back slow. Act like you know, this is no drill. Murderers rap but feel going for kill. On these New York City sidewalks we walk, camouflage, dodging the eyes of the hawk. Canine sport, toting the 5th, sliding off. My live source moving across with brute force. Blood sport, many more heads face the blade. Fakers must fade, the stakes have now raised. Words of murder, suspense and intrigue make major league niggas show signs of fatigue. My killer bees span wider than 7 seas. Squeeze on MCs with bullet train speed. Tony's touch create more gold than Midas. Your highness, all in your head like your hairstylist.
Frosty mug, big ringleaders, top secret thug. Lamping and cheaters, Thor with the murder glove. Bold of the town, devilish grin look peculiar. Swung on his faggot, knocked the windows out of Sirius. Tim's got scuffed up, my ankles got sprained, that's my word. To every single seat I smack flames. Staten Island's Bayside, the teachings of Elijah. Thrown out the temple, now collided with the father. Nicknames put in, Clarence 13X before the Will Smiths and the limelights of Cuba Gooding. Lost in the cosmos, exploding through a quasar. Be ducking pulsars again and stay still, be the gods. Tony Touch, Tony Touch. Word out. Big face ghost in effect.
There you are, there you are.
Yeah,
Some probably late night gaming, you know?
that's what
Probably
you're doing.
pass out, drop this thing.
Yeah, what game you playing?
I was doing, I think, Overwatch last night. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one I was watching the other day when you were playing, right?
Oh yeah.
When
No.
you-
You commented on my. I think I was playing Skyrim. You know, with
Oh yeah,
bows and
yeah,
arrows
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
dragons.
yeah, yeah. That's what it was. Skyrim, right, right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Overwatch is. Oh man, I'm just always tired. I'm not PC. I'm just relaxed and chopping up with my boys, and it's a lot of fun. And we've even got to the point where if we do anything good or we win, instead of saying "fuck yeah," "hell yeah," or whatever, we're like, "Oh, we just released a Snyder cut on their asses." And one of them's not even a Snyder cut fan, but he loves it, so it's cool.
But
He wants to watch it too.
He says it too.
Oh yeah, it's like a thing because I was like, hey, why don't I replace awesome with release the Snyder cut? And it works in games, you know.
Right.
Imagine you make that touchdown, you run it, you slam the football on the ground, you do your dance, you're like, Fortnite skin, whatever. Release the Snyder cut just now. That good feeling.
Hey, you're retarded, dog.
Thank you, man.
Yo, so Purdy talked some good shit about you yesterday, man.
Yeah, I heard it. I'm blessed, and I didn't know how much the movement meant to him when you hear it in his voice when he's just
Right.
talking about everybody. So
Right.
I'm more than honored to have met him. I'm glad to have met him twice. He hit me up when I was going to meet up with the Queens on Sunday
Right.
because I was like, I need to make sure I get all this stuff for Ramesh, and I also want to see the whatchamacallit, the bus stand one. I want to see that during daylight. And so it was really good. And then he's like, he met up with me when I was picking them up. And, just for extra hug, say what's up. It's really good.
Yeah, that's
And
dope.
it was really funny. It's kind of embarrassing because the day before, the reason why I couldn't be there at Saturday, my kid's birthday, her 1-year-old birthday, right?
Right.
So I had to pick up the food and stuff. So I had to take all the shit from my trunk, put it in the back seat, and then put all the food there. I forgot to put it back in. So when I got there, I was like, hey, oh shit, you can't sit in. So I'm like in front of this fancy hotel, moving all this shit, all these plastic bottles, because I'm all about recycling and all that,
Yeah.
And all the Uber and Lyft people are like, man, that is the worst Uber Lyft driver ever. I found my wrestling and release the Snyder cut sign too, and I had to show that real quick, turn around with pride.
Did you have your mask
Jeff
on?
and the Queen Bona.
Did you have your mask on when you're cleaning out the car?
Nah, because going into San Diego from downtown, a couple cops around me, and my mask is also a beanie. It just looked bad, I think, if I put that on with a cop next to me.
Right.
What am I going to do? Smile at him? He's like, they're going to be like, hey, we're going to get this Latino homie,
Yeah.
gangster, vato loco, whatever the hell.
Yeah. You look like you're about to rob some house or something like that.
Yeah, it's just for the love. It's just for the fun, not the trouble.
You're the man, Kojay. You are the
I
man.
appreciate it, man. You are too.
So yeah, it's a lot of emotion in Purdy's voice, man. I want to get him back on one.
Yeah, I think he would like that. I think that'd be good. And we know he'd be down.
Yeah.
There's a lot more in the tank on that gentleman.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
whatever it is, whatever he's gone through, I'm just glad that he's here now being the person he is, because he's a beautiful soul, Beautiful soul.
Hell yeah. I agree. Oh shit, I forgot to introduce you. So Go Deep episode 94. Got my homeboy Kojay the Barbarian in here. Kojay the Barbarian, guys. That's his new name.
Thank you. Oh, I love Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, he was the shit.
Yeah, man, that one and Bruce Lee's The Big Boss are the first two movies I ever saw, and molded me, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Well, with film, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Conan. It was very real. What people would say now is dark.
Right.
And the music was phenomenal. The production was amazing.
Right.
And for its time, shoot, they didn't give a care of any ethnic stereotype. It was so back in time. You got
Right.
James Earl Jones was the bad guy leader. You got the wizard who was Mako.
And Grace
God bless
Jones.
his soul.
Grace Jones
And,
was in there.
Yeah, Grace. Nah, she was in the second one.
Oh, okay.
But she is part of that world, that's for sure.
Right.
Red Sonja was supposed to be Conan 3,
Right.
but there were some legal issues, so they just changed the name of Fucking
I remember Red
Arnold
Son.
Schwarzenegger character. Yeah, that was legit supposed to be like part of the Conan universe,
I
but legal
remember
issues there.
if you stay
But
up
anyways, yeah,
real.
that movie was a jam, man, and
Yeah, it
that's what
was.
I think. 300 when that came out, I was like, dang, we're going back to the 80s style, that grit, that passion, that care, that we're just gonna make the best movie we can.
Right. Right.
No pop culture influence wannabe.
Right. No PC shit over here, bro. Yeah, you got a lot of energy in your voice. Where does that come from?
It comes from wait, in general or no?
No, just like regardless, you're always up. You're like even Purdy said it last night. Y'all finish like 1,000 buttons in an hour. I'm watching all your videos and you're just bouncing all around, doing kicks, being happy.
Oh, the energy. Oh, I don't know. I just take care of it. I don't know. I'm just happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I still do martial arts in my dance training every now and then just to keep me sane.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess that's just me.
Right. No, you're pretty good, man. You're like the Energizer Bunny to the whole Spartans crew, you know.
That's funny because I think 44 is that actually.
Yeah, no, you're right. He's a little bit more energetic than you.
Yeah, I think if I was like in the same room with him, I'd just be still and just absorb. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. We try to do that, but then we got to say something, and then 44 just keeps talking. He don't give a fuck about it. He's just like, oh yeah, whatever. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. But the difference with him is that usual people, you're like, oh my god, when will you? Well, please shut up. No, But with 44, you're just like, oh yeah, yes. Oh, you got a point.
Right.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
Right,
you're like
right,
with him.
right,
So
right.
it's
You're
not
right.
that bad.
You're right. He definitely has a lot of points. He's a smart dude, man.
He's very smart.
Yep. So what's on your mind lately? We seem like we've been going, up and down in the movement. Up, well, not really down. It's just sometimes people come out with shit that maybe affects us a little bit, and it kind of sways the mood. How are you feeling?
I think the movement's great. I think people are just in shock of what's going on. It's like a reaction because in a way we kind of just leveled up.
Right.
With everything we accomplished in the last month. And when I say we, I mean every Snyder Cut person who's put their heart and guts in it. Right. And donated, do anything, promoted and everything. Not the shammers, not the fake shit, what I'm talking about. But yeah, we did a lot and I think we leveled up.
I think so too.
Here we got new members. We got a lot more people on board. Right. And I think either our enemies are going to be weaker or stronger or different or whatever. We shouldn't really have any enemies. This is dumb.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, it's kind of like we went through this metamorphosis,
Let me touch on that though.
It stung a few people.
Right. Okay. So our metamorphosis stung a few people. So let me touch on that. Why I ask you this all the time. This is my same question. Why do we have enemies now? Like it's obvious we've been doing good. You got these big publications hitting us up. Why is it still negativity?
Someone siding with someone on the side against us. See, I'm still asking my question this too. I mean, I was thinking about this on the drive home, right? And
because you knew I was gonna ask you.
Yeah. But like a month ago, I got someone hit me up on YouTube or something. Anyways, I blocked them. They were just stupid. It sounded like a shill, a kid or whatever. Right. But how they were talking about the investors, and then Snyder's a hack. I'm all thinking hack.
Right.
I was about to Google the word hack because it sounds like something a millennial wouldn't say.
Correct.
It's like almost 90s or almost 80s.
80s.
Now I'm thinking
80s.
We have okay, there we go, 80s. So I'm thinking, and it's not just that person. It's other people who said Zach is a hack or Zack Snyder's a hack. Like it's trying to be like fucking Klondike bar commercial, but just the phrasing of it and that it was the same phrase sentence, not word for word, but it was very consistent. Almost had its own rhythm. And then that tells me it was practiced or rehearsed or repetitive or repeated. Because another thing, if you look at all the people who insult us and insult Snyder Cut and even insult AF
Right,
SP, they even insult that. I'm like, do you even have a mother who raised you? What happened?
Right.
But
exactly.
then they all say the same hack, shit, stupid, da 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 da. Just vague insults, dumb. Oh, the deepest thing I ever heard, which is not even deep, is like, I can't even see anything on the screen. It's so dark.
Right, I heard that. Before.
That's like dumb,
Right.
And because they cannot survive a plethora of films, not even a David Fincher film that could they get through. So then, if that's true, so okay, what I'm saying is that they all have this basic, repetitive, bland, generic insult on why the cut shouldn't come out or us. And then you listen to people who love Zack Snyder's work, who love the movement, and everyone has a different, individual, unique story of inspiration, thought, looking into the metaphorical meanings of it,
Right.
And I did a tweet later about like doing the math, but do the math there. Okay, you have some bland and generic here, and then some surface insults and whatever, and then even writing insults, but that's hard because who are you talking about? David Goyer, Chris Terrio? I was just like, and then they point the finger at Zach. I was like, okay, so you're kind of a little confused there. I don't even know who you're mad at with the writing. So then,
right.
And then you look at us. There's all this variety of inspiration and beauty, and then you just do the math. There's clearly something one side is missing and one side is getting.
Right.
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 And back to the hack thing. That sounds something rehearsed or handed down from a generation to another one.
Like scripted.
I wouldn't be, because I forgot when I said this, but some guys I was working with who just finished working with Warner Brothers on set or whatever.
Right.
There was like a motto on set that a film's going to Netflix to die.
Right. Right.
Where would that motto come from? That would probably come from a producer or someone who's talking.
Right.
And then in between, people talk shit. We all do. It's stress relieving. I'm for stress relieving, right? And then things trickle down. So I feel that, and this is a hunch because I have no validation except all these little clues, these whispers. I have a feeling that a certain individual or individuals spitefully, because I'm getting more convinced that the changes to Justice League were not for the betterment of film quality.
Correct.
It's either one of two things, and one of the things is it was spiteful, agenda driven, or taking power away from someone. You know what I mean?
Correct. Now we talking, Kojay. It only took us 4 interviews, baby.
Did it?
No,
I don't know.
I'm bullshitting, dog.
I'm gullible as fuck, dude. So, yeah, I forgot my train of thought.
No, now we're
that's
talking.
That's my hunch.
Agenda
because we're
driven.
doing all these things, and there's so much silence. And okay, go on.
No. You hit it. Like, this is your interview. You said it's agenda driven. Probably came from.
Okay, because the other thing is that before I go into agenda driven, because that's a lot of like questions I have,
Right.
But the other theory, part 2, is they couldn't understand Justice League when they.
Your phone just went blank, bro.
Did?
Yeah, say
Can
that.
you hear me?
Yeah, say that again.
Oh, okay. No, as the train go by, it messes up with the service here. Anyways, where was I?
You said they couldn't understand Justice League.
Oh yeah. When they couldn't understand Justice League, I'm thinking, all right, they're coming off of being rattled in their boots about BVS reception.
Right.
And at SnyderCon, Zach confirmed that because he illustrated that they were freaked out too,
right,
by the mixed reviews or whatever.
Right.
Like, oh my God, whatever. So, and I know Warner Brothers has a hard-on for the MCU success, not the MCU.
Right.
And because rewind to the poor air cut. What happened there? What was it? And correct me if I'm wrong. The trailer was good, got a great response,
Right.
and then they had the company that did the trailer to edit the movie to match that energy,
Right.
not knowing what story stuff they're changing and getting rid of.
Right.
But they just wanted that hype, right?
Right.
Rewind even more to BVS. Zach mentioned that his original goal, okay, maybe a Man of Steel sequel, and then a solo Aquaman and this, and then BVS, or something like that. You know, he said something like that. That's what he wanted, but the studio's like, no, let's do Batman, Superman, no.
Right.
And then everyone's giving Zach shit for doing whatever. Zach's just doing the best, and for the cards dealt with him, I think the absolute best. Any other director who would deal so much with the cards would not do a good job. Could you imagine? Oh, you don't have to imagine. That already happened. Just Whedon. Haha. So, not everyone could do that, right?
Right.
So, he did the best with the cards dealt with him. But again, Warner Brothers wanted to rush to get that MCU success.
Right.
Right?
Okay, but they
would...
would...
rush was over there. So, I think that for part 2, they changed it to fit more jokes. It was lighter. Every single thing people complained about, they satisfied those people by doing it, and it still failed.
Right.
And so that proves that they were wrong.
Right.
And then go back to the first one. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's put this one out, because clearly there's a lot of people asking for it, more than any director's cut I've ever heard of in my life.
Right.
So the answer is there. Why they won't do it is the question. And then this is where part 2 is. If that is the case, I'm guessing maybe they're like all these people on Twitter, prideful. They can't say sorry. They can't hold a proper conversation.
Right.
They can only talk to you when it's a fight.
Right.
Like I've said nice things to other people who are talking fights and even connected with something in common, like maybe Star Trek or something, and it's just ignored.
Right. Right.
I say the same thing to another person, like, oh, you like Star Trek too? Yeah, I did too. What's your name? Oh, Wrath of Khan? Oh, which one? And then, we talk normal. But then I don't get that from there. And that's telling me that they're kind of prideful, ego, fake like. And if those are the people at Warner Brothers who did all these decisions, it's up. We just got to kind of break their ego for them to release it for us, which we'll buy for them. It's just like there's so many win-wins to not do it. And maybe they don't want to admit that they were wrong. That's one theory, that their pride and egos, they don't want to admit that they are wrong. And or it's also the spitefulness towards Zach, which I'm starting to feel too. Because they go out of their way, say, oh, happy birthday, Gal Gadot. Yay, happy birthday, Jason Momoa.
Right.
Zach's birthday comes. No one says shit. Mm-hmm. Watchmen, 10th anniversary or something. They say, hey, Watchmen, this film, great, whatever.
Right.
Nothing about the director and anything. And even the behind the scenes, like I said, you don't even see the director there.
Right.
And it's like so obvious. And also, no condolences for the family. There's a tragedy in the family. He's leaving. That's it.
Exactly.
That's a child, dude. A tragedy.
Right.
Someone who worked hard, because it's not easy building a world. Okay, Marvel Studios, they are doing it right in the sense of how they're working together with each other.
Right.
They have their own formula. DCU or DC movies, good DC movies have a formula too. I mean, it's apples and oranges, whatever. But what Marvel did right is they took their time with whatever narrative direction they want to do, and they took their time to invest in the character of the product, That's what Zach was doing.
Right.
Right, and then they were rushing Zach's stuff and giving him hurdles, so he couldn't even move and do what they need to do. See, what Marvel Studios is building the MCU, a bunch of people can't feature,
Right.
And then Zach with his small team was doing the same thing. And then all they had to do was hire Zach, and then he's a people worker,
Right.
And you see it in his movies. He's giving props to his whole crew. And then you get these people on this side, Marvel, they're doing good. What Warner Brothers, they don't have a DC film studios like Marvel has, right?
Right.
They just do film by film by film. But to do world building, you need a team. And then they with dumb luck getting Zach. Zach brings that element on his own. He brings that team. So by having Zach on board for DC was beautiful because he brought like a DC Studios filmmaking team to work their asses off, put all this quality, this texture, this history, this storytelling, visually, narratively, in music and art design, all these characters and little subtle Easter eggs, and while being different from Marvel and not copying them, which is essentially what people want. Variety is the spice of life, and it's healthy. So he gives them what they want, and fast forward to all this stuff, happens now, and how they don't even treat him, but they're benefiting off of his work. His designs are still in Aquaman. His designs are in Wonder Woman 1984. It's like no love, no respect. That's clear. And then after all this silence, I'm convinced that they or whoever's there that blacklisted him is still blacklisting him. And who's paying the price? Us. And who is also paying the price? Them.
Right.
Because another rebuttal someone said is like, oh, but Aquaman did great. I was like, I'm not talking about Aquaman. I'm talking about Justice League. The idea, the whole thing of why they made the film and how they did it. It's just wrong.
Right.
And we're trying to wake them up for us. And essentially, if they do what we want, oh, sorry, I hit the mic.
It's all right.
If they do what we want, it's just going to help them. So it just paints a picture that someone's got it in for Zach, and they're punishing us for it.
Right. I agree. So now we touched that, and I think that's the real shit right there. And so there was some people. There was a guy who brought Zach in, right? Not Kevin Sujihara. I think his name was Kevin or something, but I don't remember. But I think he brought like Zach and Ben Affleck around that time. But then they changed kind of leadership, and that guy was out. But I can't remember his name. But what I'm trying to say is when they get like a new coach in football, that quarterback from the old coach, he kind of only got like a 1-year tryout, even though he was good. But that new coach wants a whole new quarterback, So it seems like there was some new blood in Warner Brothers or DC, and they didn't really care for Zach. They wanted maybe Jeff Johns to do his thing. You think so?
I believe it.
Right. So the mission was, like the Star Wars when they say execute Order 66, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I think that could have happened. So we are all witnessing like Order 66, kill the Jedi. And look, my clock is on 66% on my phone.
Dang, screen capture that.
That's crazy. But I think that's what we saw, and it was like once they changed hands and they wanted to bring somebody else in, it was just, shit on Zack Snyder. But I don't think they knew Zack Snyder was going to have a fandom like he has, to kind of hold him up, No,
I don't think so, because I think they're looking at things in the wrong angles or whatever. Because imagine like all those bitches we don't like that we talk about all the time, that stress us out, right?
Right.
Those bourgeois know-it-alls. Imagine those people are the ones looking at the comic books that we see and love spiritually in a way, right? And I could see them, Zach's description, frosting on the cake. I could see them just looking at frosting on the cake because I don't think Warner Bros. Has been really big on their comic book movies since like Batman and Robin. But
you talking about the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it?
Yeah. I just think, well, after that movie, it kind of died out for a while because it's like, ugh. But just for a little bit until Fox came back with X-Men. But what was I saying? I feel like they don't even understand their own product,
right?
And how close they are with it.
Right.
And then you have some weird fans who just want the same old nostalgic stuff. I mean, Superman Returns, that was exactly that.
Yeah, but that wasn't that good either.
Exactly, that's my point. It's like, there's a weird bias towards Zach, and it just feels very hypocritical too, because no one's giving shit about the accuracy of like freaking Tim Burton's Batman. I mean, like having Joker be the one that killed the Waynes,
Right.
and then Batman's like, oh, you're the one.
Right. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I made you first, or whatever. I forgot. No, I made you. You made me first. Yeah. Then he was like, I'm gonna take you down.
Yeah.
So no one calls shit, but only on Zack. It's just a crazy, crazy bias, and it's not fair to even the character of Batman. He's got so many arcs, and then okay, I could go on forever.
No, keep
You've
going.
already done that.
Keep going.
Oh no, it's just I don't understand the crazy bias, except that because mixed reviews are like a bad thing to any corporate, right? And they freak out. So I think they like the bias, so they can kind of put the blame on Zack and not themselves. Going back on that ego thing.
Right. Okay.
So let the ship sink, but it's Zack's ship. It's not Warner Brothers. We're Warner Brothers. We're innocent. Or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, so I think this guy's name was Greg Silverman. You heard of him?
Nah.
All right.
Wait. Silverman sounds familiar.
Right. He was, I guess he was, here's what Warner Brothers president Greg Silverman said in the statement about what Ben Affleck brings. This is like 2013. So I think this is a guy who I'm talking about. But then somebody...
that's the year Man of Steel came out.
Right. Then somebody replaced him. What was it? Who was it? Kevin Sugihara?
I think so.
Right. Okay. So Silverman brought Ben Affleck and Zack Snyder. So I guess if Silverman gets replaced, then that means his team gets replaced too, right? Is that how Hollywood
Logically,
works?
It sounds like, yeah. Or no, they could change. It depends. It depends if the team is either some assistants or people who work for the person,
right,
and or the ones that work for the studio. Sometimes they all work together, because when my casting boss, I was working with them. Sometimes they'd work with another casting director, but the casting director is for that studio and da. So they get the billing, and then we're kind of like guest help or whatever.
Right.
And then we get like sub billing or something like that in the
Right.
credits. But we do not belong to them. However, we are part of the project, so we belong to the project. So I don't know if in the office work it works. I didn't get that high in the world to see that, but I saw in our office it kind of worked like that.
Right.
Every now and then. So I could see them doing that up there, especially with films that, work with the Mexican film industry or the Chinese film industry every now and then.
Right. Okay. So I think what I was getting at is, there is an obvious bias. I think there's still an obvious bias, but what I'm asking,
there is.
Right, it is. But I'm asking, like, why now, right? Because it was 2017 when that shit happened, or 2016 when it kind of went down with Justice League. So it's now 2019. Why are these guys still fucking around on the internet and, Twitter beefs and all this shit like that? Why do you think this is still going on? Zack Snyder is off to another movie, Army of the Dead. Why is his Spartans, catching hell? Or why do you think there's still a bias going on against Zack Snyder? Why not just leave it alone and let us just do what we want to do?
Okay. I think there's still a debate going on behind the scenes, and they're trying to use leverage against each other. That's a guess. Because I want to rewind to a conversation I had with one of my buddies because I was really freaking out. I was like, no, I want Henry Cavill to stay as Superman. Right. Don't go. Because remember, it was, I don't know when, but it was that time he had a meeting with Warner Brothers, and everyone was like, what happened? And then he did like a Instagram post where he just looked at the camera, brought up a Superman action figure, and lowered it down to like a song of dogs barking or something.
Right.
Something very ambiguous, and I was like, "What the?" So I was talking to my buddy who's a writer, and he worked in Hollywood for a little second or a hot minute, and he was saying, I think he's using that as leverage, because look at it. If you play the same character more than 3 times, they have to bump up your pay,
right,
Otherwise, you run the risk of being typecasted as an actor for future jobs.
Right.
And we already know that some actors were gypped out of their pay for Justice League, which is not right. And that's apparently what Warner Brothers condones until they rectify that. So I could see them trying to take the cheap route and either postpone Superman or recast him, you know? So my friend suggested that since he didn't say anything, and then he posted something, is probably to get a public buzz to kind of test the waters to use as leverage, because it's really hard,
right?
Or it's not as accurate for companies and corporations to know what the consumer is going to really want and really like, which is funny because of our hashtag. We're kind of spelling it out for them. But they also want to see if people will like a certain thing in a certain direction that they want to go in.
Right, I get
and
that.
a combination of where they can get the money. So there's a difference. Because some of these films aren't entirely made to make money, but just to go in a direction to help another project later on or something like that.
Right,
you know?
right.
Because a lot of the digital CGI special effects designs done in like the Meg, they had access to that because they were able to build that in their studio, which they could easily carry over to Aquaman. Because I saw a lot of similar visual effects. So
right.
And then usually like all the brilliant special effects of the destruction in the Black Zero attack in Metropolis and Man of Steel. And then later on, you see San Andreas, the building crumbles all the same. It's like they share, stuff. They build stuff together. One helps the other or whatever. So it could be different reasons why they want to go in a certain direction. But I can see why they use us or social media just to get a buzz, just to get an idea, just to test the waters for whatever reasons they want.
Right.
I get it's not entirely the best reasons.
I get that.
Or the reasons that we think.
Right. I get that. And a lot of people.
So I think that's why the bias is still here, because I think they are trying to figure out how to release a Snyder Cut.
All right. So the bias is still here because
they're not stupid. They have to try and figure that out.
Right. Okay. But why the bias then? Are they?
Because I think there's a divide back there. I think we have Toby Emmerich. We're all saying we need him out.
Right.
So if that's also a case, then there's probably a situation going on there.
Okay.
My guess.
All right. So all right. So we're saying there's some people testing the waters like, see, look at all these guys that like the Snyder Cut. And then there's another crew testing the waters like, hey, see, look at all these guys who don't like the Snyder Cut. You think it's like that? And
exactly.
They're just grading it?
I think so, because isn't that what they did in order to change Justice League to be the way it is? They listened to those people who were making all those complaints and stuff.
Right.
I feel guilty because I didn't voice anything. I joined Release the Snyder Cut to promote it, but also I want to get to the truth.
Right. Okay. I could see that, but aren't we winning? Like,
I feel like we're winning. I think we rattled the cage. So then that's why these random weird bias things are sounding kind of like, to me, they sound outdated. But the fact that they're still around, people are pushing it, and is weird. And then just like, what was it, Screen Rant? That tweet they did?
Which
to
one?
Follow quickly, to quickly change? Oh my God.
Hold on. Which one? Which one?
What?
Which tweet?
Remember they tweeted about what we did at San Diego Comic Con? It was a good article,
right?
And then they retweeted again saying, it doesn't exist or some shit like that.
Right.
Which contradicts everything in the actual article.
Right.
We're like, oh, someone's got spanked upstairs or something.
Right.
That shit like that is telling me that there's still some kind of leverage battle going on.
See, that's why I get you on this fucking show, because you're smart. Even though you act like a lucha libre and this.
No, I am a lucha libre, bro. No, I'm just have all these questions. I want them answered, and those are my best guesses because I want to try and figure out what's going on. And I think people are afraid to say shit because I don't know.
I get that. So Screen Rant got spanked from the guys upstairs, right?
That's my guess.
Right.
I mean,
I kind
why
of.
would they quickly have to put that out?
Right. Right. So how do they spank us? How do they spank the Spartans? Because it looks like. Do they spank us with Screen Rant? You know, do they spank us with Garza? Do they spank us with Dave the Film Junkie and the 40 Club? What? How do they get to us?
No, they have to get to us through social media or like debunking us or something.
Right.
Like whatever, all the above. That because the beautiful thing is that they can't control us.
Right.
They're trying to, they want to, it's their dream to, but we're woken up to the beauty of what we believe in.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I'm not calling other people ignorant. I'm just saying that we are awake to what we've experienced. Because I thought seeing all this beautiful shit that dang, I guess I'm the only one seeing it, or me and my sisters and this my best friend JB. You know, maybe it's just us seeing it. But then then I voice it. I hear other people uprise because they're equally morally hurt and offended by this action. So I was like, oh shoot, I'm not crazy.
Right.
And there is something special. And I've always kind of, not to sound egotistical here when I say this, but I always felt that when I found something beautiful, I felt that a lot of times I only felt it at the moment, and then later on other people would catch on. Because now I meet people and they're like, oh, Conan the Barbarian is my favorite movie too.
Right.
The first Ninja Turtles, yeah, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars. I was like, cool, all these things that were unpopular. And then, fifth grade, I had fifth grade. No, it was sixth grade. Sixth grade, I had a Batman shirt for every day of the week, right? And I rocked that shit. And I was, because I'm like, Batman is legit. He's so relatable. You guys don't know. And I was made fun of and picked on and all that stuff. And now look at it.
Right.
All the jocks have Batman tattoos and Batman logos on their trucks. I was like, haha, what now?
Right.
So I just have faith that I'm not loving things for selfish things. I'm loving things for a beauty that I've seen out of all the, because I'm a big Renaissance geek, comic books, movies, music, martial arts, video games. I just love so much. To me, it's a lot of art and narrative and storytelling. So I'm not saying I see it all, I know it all, I master it all, but I see a lot. And then when I see something really unique and beautiful being powerful, it's a gift, because a lot of people are too busy copying each other,
Right.
A few good teen movies come out, then a million teen movies come out.
Right.
You get Notebook, it was huge, and then you get a lot of Notebook wannabes coming out.
Right.
It's like stuff like that. I really like the groundbreaking films,
Right. Okay. And you say you're out in front seeing that, right? So maybe were you out in front and seeing the beauty in Zack Snyder movie? Because I remember he didn't have this much support after BVS. If he did, it'd probably still be going on, right?
Yeah, because his stuff, well, when something hits you big or shocks you, either grabs you instantly or it takes a while to sit, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand it now, or whatever. So I think like I'm filming like BVS, because a lot of people, the only thing I was disappointed on is I thought the fight with Batman and Superman would be longer, and I thought I'd get more Clark Kent. And then, I get the director's cut, and I was like, oh, it was always there anyways.
Right.
So it's cool. So I think not putting the director's cut hurt the meaning of what the movie was about, because it's beautiful. Because if you get the director's cut, it's a good split. It's a good Clark Kent story where Clark Kent began in the end of Man of Steel, Right. Man of Steel was mostly a Superman Kal-El story. And then we get BVS, we get that Clark Kent. So it kind of completes, the Superman arc. And, of course, the ending was really sudden. But you know what? These people heroes who go into battle or going to war, anything can happen. Nothing's not promised. I got not a lot. I got like two. I got two friends in the LAPD.
Right.
I know that something can happen anytime.
Right.
Tomorrow's not promised, so I appreciate that lesson was there, which worked as a double lesson for Batman. Anyways, see, even saying that, I got sucked into other meanings on top of meanings. So all these meanings, I forgot what I was meaning to say. What was I saying?
I guess you were.
Oh, I got it. Sorry. You get a film like that needs every little bit of the director's cut in it. I think that film was crucial of being understood through the director's cut, and then taking everything they took out to get to the end result was kind of like it's missing something, and then that's off-putting, and then uh having director's cut come out when the thing was released domestically was beautiful. I was so happy. I was like, oh, cool, I'm buying this. And then it was astronomically beautiful. I missed it when they brought it back in theaters for like 3 days, but I got to see it again with Zach, so that was cool. But the the beauty of the film spoke for itself after a while. Kind of like Hellboy, when it came out, it had really bad marketing, the first Hellboy. And then people were like, oh, okay, whatever. But when it came out on DVD, the DVD sales were amazing, or home release sales. And people were like, hey, this movie's kind of cool. You know, like kind of like Office Space or Fifth Element. The more times you watch it, you're like, hey, I love this.
Right.
I think BBS had that kind of thing where see, the beautiful thing about the films is that they they can never lie to you at the quality of what they are. Like they are exactly what they are. The only reason is if they get loved or not depends on the zeitgeist, what's popular, what's the in thing. That's the only thing that would help any film generally. But essentially, every film stands on its own 2 feet, on its own merits. Sequels or not, worlds or not, whatever, and that will stand the test of time.
Right.
And I believe BVS is standing the test of time.
Right. Correct. But
films that stand the test of time build more people into it to love it, and especially if you're building a universe, that would just multiply on top of it if you stay true to that course, that song, that that series of albums.
Correct. I agree. That's what I was gonna get at. So like, we still haven't seen the aha moment to the nightmare scene, right? We only heard Zach talk about it. We still haven't seen the aha moment to Robin's suit sitting there with spray paint on it. We still haven't seen that. We still haven't.
I didn't mind that one. I thought that was going to be addressed, and especially with the. Oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No. Keep going. This is your...
Okay, yeah, especially with because I read on Twitter. I didn't get to research it yet, because I was at work. But something about like Ben Affleck's Batman was going to go to Arkham Asylum, and there were going to be some flashbacks there. How cool would it be if that's where we find out about what happened to Robin? Right. That would have been interesting. And I have faith that they would have tackled that.
Right.
That would have been great.
Right.
And seeing all those story elements in BVS told us that there's more coming. It's a bigger world. And seeing that gave me such hope and joy and excitement. I was like, no, we're not supposed to know the answers now. Because before BVS hit theaters, we knew the slate. Right. It was going to be, we're going to get a Wonder Woman solo. We're going to get a Cyborg solo. We're going to get Aquaman solo. We're going to get Justice League Part 1.
Right.
We're going to get a Flash solo.
Right.
I'm forgetting the order. I think Flash was before Cyborg. Oh, anyways. And then we were going to get Justice League 2.
Right.
I was like, dang, this slate is awesome. So, and I avoided the internet for a while because I was like, oh, I don't want too much spoilers. I want to see this movie, right? And then when I saw it, I saw the nightmare scene. I saw what they were doing, how they stand up. I was like, oh, cool. This is going to be explained later because I remember the slate.
Right.
And then what happened?
Right.
We only got Wonder Woman.
That's what I'm saying. So check this out. We got all of these questions unanswered.
They gave up.
Right. But they did. But look, so BVS made like 900 million, right? And that was just like the hors d'oeuvres. That was just the appetizer, right? So if they would have kept to it, it can't be about money, because if they would have kept to it when all of those aha moments are finally answered, it would make more money just because the aha moment, So they would have had a string of billion-dollar movies, and it would have been better because it seems like Warner Brothers just makes better movies than Disney. It would have been better because Zack Snyder was there. So it wasn't about the money. I don't think it was about the money. I think it was something else, and that's what I'm trying to get to, I guess.
It has to be controller power, because if it's not about money, because look, they spent so much money to make a shitty movie.
Right.
And they're staying by it. That's the craziest part. And then it's shocking how it's not about money when I'm like, it's about art, it shouldn't be about money. Because I'm thinking, wait, investors, execs, all the corporations, they want money, right?
Right.
Isn't that? It's like what I understood, how they understood things. It's like the success of money. I'm thinking, okay, that keeps them happy, and because I used to look at all right, here's the funny thing about me. I like Alvin and the Chipmunks still to the day, and I have all the movies. The fourth one is not that great, but the second one is legit amazing. So, when I saw Alvin and Chipmunks 2 come out, I looked at the box office mojo. I was like, oh, they made a decent profit.
Right.
This one where they made a profit to get the second one, and it was around the same or a little bit higher. I was like, cool. I am happy if they make a third one because they totally can, because they got the money to do it. Why not? It just seems like logic,
Right.
And then for them, I was like, yay. And then because in a way, I'm like, oh, if they get the money they want, then they could have the resources to make another.
Right.
And then after that, I'm like, good, thank you. It's all about the art. Make something quality, because then that's what drives me to get more or more.
Right.
And then when the money is not even the reason,
Right.
then it's just like, I don't know. It feels evil.
Well, now we're talking. So, last time
I was gonna say darker, but I was like, nah.
Last time you said they just
Something's wrong, man.
Last time you said they just couldn't control Zach, right? So
yeah, that could be a part of it too.
All right, so we're looking, but they didn't need to control him. The fans loved it, The people, those people who was talking shit, they wasn't the majority, And obviously, they can see that now that they're not the majority, but it's still going on, the hate's still here, and it's like 3 years later, but it's still going on. So I think it's something bigger, and I don't know, man. I wish I was the fly on the wall where I can just figure this shit out,
I know. I wish I was too. Even the invisible man, to be completely invisible, he has to be naked. Mine to be naked and then invisible just to go in there and figure it out, Oh, I could also be up to some bad trouble. Pee on the carpet. But anyways, the thing is, I'm also worried if it's a power thing and they purposely wanted to change it, whether it was good or bad. All they cared about was a reset, course correction, hard reboot, no matter the cost or fail. Right. I worry that if that's their desire, just to take the power away from Zach and do whatever the hell they want, like they just wanted to treat it as punishment, right, or this is what we're going to do no matter what. If it's a failure or not, we're going to change it, and then we're just going to go forward. Fuck the fans, fuck the people. Right. We just want to do exactly what Marvel is doing or Disney is doing or whatever.
Right.
Or they just want to take the credit away from Zach and have all the credit, Could another thing where people are saying, oh, someone needs to put these directors in line, trust the producer. It's weird, man.
Yeah? Put Zack Snyder in line?
No. Like I think they want more credit and they want more. Because if he can't control Zack, he's gonna do his stories. But his stories was giving, because the whole point of the apocalypse stuff and everything, what he was going to do to Batman or whatever. It was going to set the tone for them to do all their stories, right?
Right.
He said that it would, when Justice League was over, other directors can, make more. So his design was to go to a certain point and hand the torch. He wasn't even going to be like trying to control everything and whatever. I think Warner's brothers just freaked out because for them to do all this mean stuff to Zach, this just tells me that they didn't really understand or care about him as a person.
Right. Correct.
Because he's a giving guy.
Right.
And he said he wanted other people to, express themselves and do this, and directors do this and whatever. His plan was to go on, because I've heard that thing that, he was going to end the DCU or whatever. No, that was his story.
Right.
Setting up. And lo and behold, they're doing the Batman, and it's going to be its own rebooted own universe.
Right.
They're already on linear stuff, and then Joker's coming out. It's going to be, quote, the dark universe or whatever.
Right.
they're already not even honoring the timeline that he made. So why even punish him for that reason? It doesn't make sense. So then everything goes back again to they just want power and control for the sake of it.
That's what. All right. So now we're gonna go deep. I got a question for you, little Kojay. Check this
Sure.
out.
I'm like, how deep can we go? I'm like, I'm looking around, I'm like in the abyss. I'm like, whoa, where are we?
All right. So check this out. You know how Zach was making all those like Jesus references and all those Christian references with Superman. You know, like when he was carrying the boat, it looks like he was carrying the cross. Then you got the people in Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, could it be that people in Hollywood just don't like Jesus or Christianity, and they just was like, "Oh, fuck that, get that shit the fuck out of here"?
It could be. It could be because uh yeah, some I've like what? There's like I forgot the person, but he was like booed for thanking God, and he was a Christian or something. Around the time that Caitlyn Jenner got an award, and everyone was like, "Yeah." I mean, I'm not trying to
RG3
say
got booed one time for saying he liked God, and so did what's the Tim Tebow? You know, so it's like
Mhm.
it's like
I mean, that town could be, which is weird because I support my fellow friends and all that, and the LGBT. You know, I've even worked gay pride like twice.
right,
So you know, I'm all for it. Again, like I said before, any like a group, organized group, has a huge that get politically aggressive. They have a they're like closer to falling to the dark side of the force, and then they just kind of create like a toxicity mentality
right,
of anything opposed to it or different to it, you know?
right. I agree.
And
I
any
agree.
group can do that. And then that anti-Christian stigma I can see affecting Zach's films at the time, or the treatment of Zach due to maybe people in power or something. Because if they're looking at just the frosting, they're not looking at the actual meaning of it. Because the actual meaning of it, uh, created by two Jewish guys in New York, inspired by the Bible and the ISIS tale and all this and that. So the character Superman having is actually being true to the character, because he's a very Christ character from the beginning and all his adventures,
Right,
and having a little bit of that beautiful symbolism is just being true to Superman. It's not trying to be like, oh, Christianity everywhere. Oh, it's not like that.
right,
Being true to Superman, because you don't see that in 300 and
right, right,
whatever. It's just part of Superman, and he's taking care of it. But then if you see a little thing and they're thinking external stuff, they're not even thinking about Superman. They're going to come at it from an external aggressive source, maybe. So I could see that too, man.
right. Okay, so like you said, we don't see that in 300, the Christ-like, or maybe we do.
No, because it's
right. No,
What? I mean, I saw it in Godzilla for some reason. The Godzilla 2.
Godzilla was like Christ.
No, the King of Monsters. They had, was it Ghidorah? No, it wasn't Ghidorah. It was a pterodactyl one. When he was coming out of the volcano, there's this big cross-like thing on the right side.
Okay.
I was like, what are you trying to say?
So Zach could have been just being true to Superman and not really trying to make a message. Not really.
No, he could do both.
Okay.
Because that's the beautiful thing about Superman. You could do both.
All right. So then like you said, that town, that Hollywood is kind of like anti that shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could have been.
I mean, I have a bad taste of Hollywood just for like the people around I was with, which was just kind of weird. Like one set I was with, right? And I told you, a lot of people think I'm Islamic when I wear my hat in it that my sister made for me.
Right.
So I wore that to the last day of shooting on. No, it wasn't last day. Second last day of shooting on this one project, right? And because it was freaking cold, we were shooting at the Orange County Register, the basement, this little sub area that used to be a news area, but they only use it now for people to and the commercials that you see on TV.
Right.
Like they have people around the clock choosing what commercials to show live in between just to fit the time thing. It's not like or hopefully now it's digital, but it was crazy to see that actual people are choosing what commercials to play when. It was like they have a playlist of commercials. It was weird. But anyways, we shot a thing there, and it was cold as hell, so I wore my hat in it. And then one of the guys in production came up to me. He's like, "All right, please don't blow us all up." I was like, "Really, homie?"
Wow.
And so it's like they have like a lot of my depiction of Hollywood is wherever the trend and money is, but the people there I don't feel are morally accurate or kind.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like I said, this one guy who worked for Marvel, and he loves Marvel, he still does. But the guy he worked for as an intern, trying to be a writer, working up in Marvel in New York, was just a dick to him, and then he was able to get away with it. And there's probably other stories in more detail than that. But he said from his learning, and then I match it up to my experience in Hollywood, is that like you go to a job,
right?
They always have billboards of like employee conduct, no sexual harassment, everyone's respectful,
right.
Appreciate people's, all that stuff,
Right.
Hollywood entertainment business is like the last one to encourage like
morals,
employee treatment, like in a humane way, or like EHR or something,
right?
Human resources, like they don't have it; it's non-existent. Because even in pro wrestling, the owner of it, Vince McMahon, his company hires each wrestler, all the performers independently, but under contract they can't work for anyone else, and they don't get their health and benefits. They have to get it elsewhere. So there's like weird contractual shit that's unethical. That's the word I was looking for. That are unethical and misconduct, just treating people in general, but no one polices them. No one it's just kind of like, because that's where the money is. It's fast money, all this power. So
right.
I can see people being petty. And my experience in there is like, deep or kind or caring as I thought. There were some, but the ones that were pulling the strings felt more like obstacles. And, I'm, look at me, I'm ambiguous as hell. And so a lot of people treat me differently depending on what they think I am.
Right.
And so I could see their thinking, their attitude, their ego, their prejudice left and right. And it's stuff Hollywood, but I love film and I love the people I met. And there's a lot of good people there too. A lot of wonderful artists, but it's like we're just negating around all these silver spoon egotistical bullshit fuckers that get in our way. Right. And depending when that group is around, the actual artists who are trying to do stuff, it's just a lot harder for us.
Right. Right. So
my opinion of Hollywood isn't pretty.
Right. So that's where I was getting at. That's the point. So if you kind of look at like symbolism in there, he had the JFK in there a lot. He had the Jesus kind of stuff in there. He had Batman did some bad shit, but he kind of was, I don't know, he kind of was seeing himself and turning over a new leaf, I guess.
I love seeing that because I like seeing Batman go through a self-discovery of becoming a better person. Because I've read stories where he's been lost or whatever. I mean, before Batman got his back broken by Bane, for like a year, there was a constant theme in the comics, because I was reading Batman and Detective Comics a lot at that time. Right. Was it 94? I can't remember. But anyways, it was before he got his back broken by Bane. Now, what was going on with Batman is he was suffering from insomnia and stress, and because I think Nightwing was running the Outsiders, and then and I think Batgirl was she on Teen Titans? I don't know. But the idea was like he was alone. It was just him and Alfred back in the day, whatever style, right? Right. But Batman even had an afternoon shadow, like his beard was coming in, and he was tired, and he was starting to meditate, trying to find what's tripping me out. And he even had the scene where he was just meditating, close his eyes, and he sees this box. Interesting, right? Box. It was just black, and then it was just the top lid was moving, and then it tipped over, and then there's a bunch of blood came out, and he woke up in a cold sweat. And another one, he was in the streets fighting this street gang, kid who was trying to be like a cartel leader or whatever.
Right.
I think it was, anyways, it was a kid, like a 13, 11-year-old kid just calling the shots of this street gang running the street war on this other part of town in Gotham, right? And Batman intercepts him on some situation, and then, he falls over on the side of this fire escape on the side of the building.
Right.
And then Batman's feeling woozy. He's lack of sleep. He's tired.
Right.
And then the kid sees that he's like weak. And then the kid takes a little cement brick and hits Batman over the head, and he falls over and falls down. And then the kid looks at him and laughs. He's like, "Ha ha! I thought you were a warrior." So Batman's been down before.
Right.
He had to overcome that stuff, and guess what happened? He approaches Bane, and Bane paralyzes him for a long ass time.
Right.
So Batman's been in the gutter. He's been like non-trusting and a dick. He's been brutally going too far that pissed off Robin once to leave and not work with him. He's been tired and stressed out. He's been through different phases that challenge his character. And for the first fucking time, we see that on screen.
Right.
And that's a precious part of Batman. And we see how he comes to the light, because in the beginning, in Man of Steel, Jor-El says, "Superman, you're going to bring people to the light." So then you get you see that journey for Batman, a lost, broken Batman. Whereas before, we just usually see Batman do his job and whatever. I think Nolan was the first one to really push the emotion of what Batman was going through. Any Batman stuff before that, it was just Batman doing the job, like James Bond. Like, there's no emotional change.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So,
before old school Bond.
So he's talking about bringing people to the light. And I think that's where we got this fandom from, because we've all been through something, right? So it's like
sounds like, especially listen to Go Deep.
Right. So he brought the fandom to the light too. And it's like, the light is like God, or something positive, it's not the dark side, right? So it's like, so this is what I'm saying. The people, the execs, don't want the light, You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't want. No,
because if it's like that, and they it's weird, because if you understand the light, you would not be opposed to it.
Right.
So I feel that they're either purposely not paying attention, or just ignorant, or just not even looking at any of that. They just think it's dark, evil, stupid, waste of time. Like, they're not even giving it time to delve. Like, maybe, I don't know, can they read? I don't know. It's like
so you don't think
they're either not seeing it or they're against it.
That's what I'm saying. So I think they're against it. You don't think they're not seeing what Zack Snyder was trying to do?
See, I can't tell because I don't know them.
Right. I think they're just against it. I think the town shows they're against it. I think what their actions have shown that they're against it. I think,
because here's the thing. I'm leaning more to them being against it.
Right.
And then why? I'm leaning more to the darker, scarier stuff, like, they're against the light, so to speak.
Right.
Because, like I said, I want to be on Snyder Cut. I am Snyder Cut, release Snyder Cut for the film itself, but I also want to get to know the truth. And the more we delve, the more we wait, the more we try to communicate with them, and then all these reactions from all these other people are starting to illustrate the bad stuff more.
Right. That's what That's what I'm saying.
And I'm still here trying to get to the truth. I was like, no, Wonder Bros, you can't be bad. No one could be bad. See, I'm like that, right? But if it is bad, I'll prepare for it.
Okay.
But here's the thing too. I'm saying this because, one, I didn't get far in Hollywood. I feel like I was just at the bottom, in the trenches, not even at the main battle, right? So I didn't get to go behind closed doors. Or certain walls to understand certain worlds, certain circles. Right. Zach, though, he's worked with them. Correct. And I've seen enough just at my lower level, and I'm thinking Zach has probably seen even more on his level where he got to where all us regular people like him, regular people are trying to, just go higher to make more film, right?
Right.
We want to advance to get more resources to make more film.
Right.
But then the other powers that be, they got some other shit going on clearly.
Right.
And that's blocking us. And I feel Zach was closer to it. So all these motifs that we're seeing in his films, we can pick apart more because we're like, okay, so now there's more truth. Like even the biggest obvious motif of BVS with the mixed reactions in the film about people are for Superman, people are against him.
Right.
That totally symbolizes all pop culture right now.
Right.
Especially with the world of DCEU or the Snyder cut. We are like Superman going to the Capitol, right? Trying to make a difference. And then there's people going, yeah, we're for you. And other people are like, no, you fucking suck.
Right.
It's like that is happening in real life right here. So I'm wondering later on, anything he put down, are Warner Brothers going to prove him right about the evil that is?
Well, it looks like
that's my question.
It looks like
that's what I'm seeing.
It looks like it's happening, It looks like you said, he's been behind closed doors. I mean, even before the DCEU, he was catching hell in Sucker Punch, right? They were like people, So it's like, all right.
And that's not his fault because apparently that's not even his cut. So he's getting this. See, I hate cuts like that, and then they blame the director.
Right.
When it's not even the director's finished work.
Right.
That's the most arrogant, egotistical, ignorant thing I've ever heard. Because then that's clearly like, see, we're going to change this because it's better. Oh, it was a flat. Well, the director made that one, not us. He.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh, is that what you're thinking?
Right. But like what I'm saying is just trying to piggyback off what you said. He's been behind those closed doors. He
knows a lot more.
Right, he knows a lot, and he puts the shit in his movies, like the fucking Baphomet in the 300 movie, with Xerxes. Like there's people in Hollywood who actually worship Baphomet, and we all know that. Everybody in the Snyder Cut movement should know that by now. But Zach, he puts that stuff out, or look at Stanley Kubrick. The amount of shit he was gonna try to put in Eyes Wide Shut, and look what happened, right? So we kind of know already what we're up against. It's just like, oh man.
If it's some crazy secret society, then everyone listening, please get on Snyder Cut. We're trying to save the world. God damn it. If it gets to some, because there's like, who knows what kind of cults are out there, dog. Right. What is that? My beautiful girl who played Chloe in Smallville. I loved her so much.
Yeah,
she's got life in prison for that sex cult.
Yeah, she's life in prison, right? The Nexium shit. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Like, this shit is out there. Zack Snyder had to know about it. You know what I mean? And like, are we up against that shit? Because I know we're not up against people on Twitter. They haven't even been close to Zack Snyder. And these Twitter
from all the people bullying our brothers and sisters on Twitter, they don't sound smart enough to be in any kind of culture.
Right.
It's like, yo, sit in the corner. I'm gonna give you a golden book to read, and we're gonna talk about it, all right? And then if you're good, we're gonna have a sandwich, all right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So you're talking about Allison Mack, and you're talking about next.
Allison Mack, that's who she did a good voiceover for Power Girl, though. I have to admit.
Okay, but look at her. I mean, look what she's caught up against, dude. Like, God. Damn, dog. I think life in prison, and I think her pimp or whatever that guy got life in prison also. I think, or look at what Rose McGowan was saying, how she was saying the Me Too movement is fake because she know all those girls and blah, 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 blah. So we're up against some shit, dog. We're up against way more than the 40 Club. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how to beat these guys. I thought, like, at first when I wanted to do Go Deep, the thing is called Go Deep, right? So I wanted to kind of research that shit and kind of bring light to that shit to kind of fucking, I don't know what I was thinking. Get these guys arrested or whatever. But, like, it just happened to be they happen to fall by themselves, you know? So now it's dominoes falling from Washington, D.C., New York, Epstein, fucking Hollywood, Weinstein, all of this other shit. These are the people behind closed doors. These Nexium people are the people that we haven't caught up to yet. I think Zack Snyder knows that. I think he caught up to him and he was just like, oh, fuck it. So he found a way to artistically say it, you know? And they're like, nah, get that fucker out of here. Because it definitely ain't about the money. We're showing that, yo, we'll pay more money. We're showing everything. We're showing... I think he's just up against some wild ass shit, and we just haven't figured it how to stop those guys yet, you know?
Yeah. Also, See, I'm thinking, do you know at some points, like in some areas of China, some practicing of certain philosophies
Right.
of Buddhism and Kung Fu
Right.
were illegal. And have you heard of Shenyun, the Chinese traditional dance company?
No.
Okay, so a lot of the arts in China is fuck ass old and fuck ass beautiful. A lot of it predates before Christ, and it's amazing shit, right?
Right.
So there's a current theme in Buddhism, and here's the truth of Buddhism. Buddhism is a philosophy. It's not a religion.
Right.
I feel a lot of organized religions screw it up. But anyways, in Buddhism, there is this constant theme of enriching yourself, to be strong for yourself, to be independent, to find the truth for yourself, and a detachment of things that distract you from yourself.
Right.
And key thing is being true to independent thought. And at some point in China, things that encourage that, some meditations or Buddhism or certain Buddhist practices, because there's different Buddhisms, like there's Christianity, Mormon, Catholicism,
right.
blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Same with Buddhism. There's a bunch of different ones. Certain ones or certain practices
Right.
were deemed illegal, and certain practices of those were themes of dance. So Shenyun, the dance company, they left China. They're based in New York to preserve Chinese culture completely. All Chinese cultural dances from all eras and all regions of China, and they're preserving it in New York. Why? Because they're free to preserve everything. When they go and perform in China, they can't do certain dances that reflect those things. So they had to escape that. Now, obviously, it was like a communist logic and rule, right? Because everyone's got to fall in line. That's the key thing. Now, anyone practicing any individual thought and freedom of thinking is a threat to anyone who needs to make an empire based off of sheep.
Correct.
That is a fact. Now, if there's beauty and individuality themes in Zack's films, I said if there are. Right. So yeah, boom. So all the beauty that's like uniquely to that film, that would freak out any empire that wants to make a bunch of sheep fall in line.
Correct.
Because zombies are loyal. They'll come, you know. I mean, I love my dog, but he's stupid. You feed him enough, he'll love you for life, right? So people who are inspired to do things, that's not really marketable. You want people to be addicted to, like, oh, I have the ease of doing this through my phone. Oh, I have the ease of doing this here. Oh, I have the ease. Oh, I'll just come here. Oh, it's routine. It's a rhythm. I'll watch this. Da da da. It's the same thing. I like it. Just keep playing the same song. Whatever.
Right.
That's more of a constant flow. Like you could get. It's kind of like a drug ring, man. It's like if you get people addicted, then you don't have to try hard.
Right.
Because trying hard is too much of an investment, but trying hard is what we should do to push ourselves, to better ourselves in anything we do, work, art, communication, blah, 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 you know, but that stuff is not really marketable because you need You need people to be loyal to buy this and that. But people will if it's good. But they fail to realize that because then you make annual quotas. Or, like you said, uh, everything, they just need more sheep. And then if there's that individuality theme from Zach's films or whatever, shoot, that's a threat to that concept.
Right. All right. Stop right there. Right there. Check this out. So last time we talked, you were like, it's bigger than WB probably. So now WB's not trying to make an empire of sheep.
No, someone's probably using through WB to make an empire sheep.
Right.
Because if WB wanted to recuperate, they would have released a Snyder cut to make that money for them, because that's an actual business. It's like, oh, we screwed up. Oh, they want it easy.
Right.
You know, like demand and supply, you know?
Right. So if they wanted
supply and demand, there it is.
If they wanted to recuperate, okay, so check this out. WB is like handcuffed. They're like they're pussy. I mean, for lack of a better word. Zack Snyder wasn't. He was just like, yo, I'm a do this whatever, you know, never conform, you know. Zack Snyder wasn't. Look at WB's history. They've been trying to tell us something with The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, you know, shit like that.
There was a change, yeah.
Right.
See, that's why I love WB, bro.
Right.
Enter the Dragon, WB, Babylon 5, a whole bunch of shit. They were trailblazers.
Right.
Like
correct.
they did Dark Knight, and they did their own. They let the director be free and all that. When I got Batman Begins, I opened this little pamphlet that came with the movie. Now, if you buy movies, there's not even a little booklet to read about it, right?
Right.
So it's so there's like no feeling now.
Right.
Even in hard copies. So then, anyways, I got Batman Begins. I opened it, and you know they had all these beautiful pictures, and they had a nice little written note by the director, and it was like an essay, like what, 12 paragraphs, and he just explained his dream of making Batman and trying to do it because he, as a fan, just loved it as a kid. He said to his mom he's going to make movies so one day he can make one Batman film. You know, it was really beautiful, really sincere. When you read that and then you rewatch his films, his Batman films, you understand more of the passion and the love. Granted, whatever changes he made, this is a guy who loves Batman, and he's sharing with us what it means to him, and he has the freedom to do so, and express his artistic thesis.
Right.
Me, when I say artistic thesis, is what you're talking about, all the Nexon symbols and this and that. That's artistic thesis to me. You use art to say something, you know?
Right.
Just like in V for Vendetta, you create a lie that says the truth. Right. So they had that freedom. I was like, yeah, Warner Brothers, trailblazers. Yeah.
Right.
Because Disney's beautiful and all. It's fun. It's great. I can rely on them for my kid when she grows up to enjoy it. But when you grow up, you need something more, you know? I mean, we're not pushing our little lawnmower with the little neon colored wheels. We're actually pushing a real ass lawnmower that can kill you if you go
Right.
on the wrong way.
Right.
You know? And then I figure, okay, we have studios like Paramount Pictures, Warner Brothers. They got balls. They're trailblazers. They'll do everything. But then there's this weird shift.
Right.
And then everything started getting watered down. Even the Meg, that was supposed to be rated R and with a lot more scenes and a lot more shark biting, but it was kind of like a what?
All right. So.
But they changed it for more people to come into the theaters.
So
they dumbed that down too.
So, okay. There's an empire dumbing down art to try to create sheep. Correct?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm starting to see and believe.
Warner Brothers isn't that big. You know, so now follow me. Zack Snyder, I might go even deeper. Stop me if I'm too deep. Zack Snyder was put in, remember he said there was this movie that they did the script and the guys was like, no, that's just a little too wild. We can't do that. The people will be going crazy out in the streets, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Oh, yeah. He was talking about his two-parter.
Right. Okay. So check this out.
Justice League.
Even with Zod, my favorite villain is Zod, and it kind of looked like it was like an alien invasion, right? It kind of looked...
Oh, yeah, it was.
Right, it was. And it looked real, right? It looked like, God damn, this maybe... They were terraforming the Earth. You know, they were... And we have, you know, incidences of this shit going on now. Chemtrails, you know, drilling, fracking, all this bullshit like that. So now we got Justice League. Another threat from space coming. You got all the Marvel movies. Thanos threat from space coming. You got these boom tubes. You got these different portals and all this bullshit. You know, like then you got in real life history, you got all these people talking about Area 51. You got all these people talking about aliens, blah, 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 blah. You know, you got, if you look on Netflix, there's these Bob Lazar alien shit, right? So now we're really talking about an empire that wants to create humans into sheep. I don't know if Disney or Warner Brothers is that big. I think Zach knows who's doing that, and he was going at them. And I think they're not human. And I'm just talking, but you know, if I'm going too deep, shut me the fuck up. But I think there's people on this planet that look human but aren't human, and they are changing through media, through, you know, what's cool, what's not, PC culture, blah blah blah. They're changing us into sheep, and I think Zack Snyder wasn't conforming with them. What do you think?
I don't know about the extraterrestrial life thing, but honestly, if that is the case, I would welcome it, because that would mean that we have more hope for humanity, you know? Because no human would be that selfish and evil and organized, right?
Right. Okay.
You'd think.
Okay.
You'd want, right?
Right. But how do you see hope in that? Tell me how you see hope in that.
Well, if that's true, then there's hope, because then the human race, we're not the ones doing it. We just got to wake up and find a way to go up against the powers that be, if that's the case.
Right. Okay. But we're losing.
See, that's why I like that, because then it's like, oh, cool, it's not us, it's some other reason. But then again, I don't want to turn that into an excuse, because what if it is people who are fucked up like that?
You think? Like,
I mean, what if? I mean, I don't know.
Who can make an empire? Who, like, have we seen that yet on Earth?
It's like a Vandal Savage thing, huh? You heard about that fool, right?
Yeah. He's an immortal, though. He's not human either.
No, he was.
Okay.
It was an asteroid that hit Earth, and then it messed up with his evolution and kind of mutated him. But Vandal Savage doesn't have to be a physical truth. He could be a metaphor. Like Vandal Savage, like, okay, look at his thing. Some came from space, hit wherever he was, he mutated, and he was smarter, and then, you know, he created society just so he could slowly weasel in and just create this empire on his own, the secret underground empire. Now, what if that's like, okay, look at the metaphor of that. Something hits Earth, it changed it, and then there was an idea that continued on. Maybe, you know, maybe there was something that hit Earth, extraterrestrial, and they created an organization. Hey, do you remember The Fifth Element? They had all those religious dudes.
Hell yeah.
With those creatures, and they said, hey, just spread the truth and we'll come later. Maybe there's some like that. Maybe it's a bunch of like stupid groups keeping something going, Scientology, stupid ass wise style.
Right.
And they're just keep maintaining some power for something else.
Right. That's what
an idea too.
That's what I'm saying.
Either way, there's some kind of if that's the case, then there's this kind of like, it's like a quiet Cobra group, you know?
Right. All right, but check this out. Let's put it back in real world, right? We got we got the Nexium people who think they are reincarnate Nazis. And let's say the Nazis were dealing with supernatural shit. They were looking for the Ark of the Covenant. They were doing, you know, just supernatural shit. Let's just say that. So now the people came over, paperclip, blah, 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 got into the space race, got into the NASA and all this other shit like that. JPL turned into like Scientology, blah, blah, blah. All this other shit. So maybe not. So now we got in a superhero movie, which is supposed to be nonfiction. Maybe there's some actual truth into this supernatural shit. And maybe Zack Snyder was preparing us for figuring this shit out. And the powers that be was just like, let's just take it back to Thanos and the Avengers and it looks all happy-go-lucky. But we know life really isn't happy-go-lucky like that. is more of the DCEU, how it feels and how it looks. So if Zack Snyder was preparing to put out a script that turned into a movie that would have people running out on the streets scared and shit, maybe he was saying something a little bit too much that the people who control Hollywood, which are the people who really we don't even know if they're people, there may be some supernatural entities that want to control our way of thinking, because we watch these movies and our way of thinking gets changed. Maybe they didn't want Zack Snyder to say what he was gonna say. Maybe he was like the Bob Lazar of the film industry, you know?
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about that too, man. It could be true. I was actually thinking about this too, your way.
Right.
And this is my answer, by the way, because I just have a bunch of questions,
All right.
And it was I forget, I think it was you and 44 about like the LGBT, saying that people of great power back in the day or wherever, they would have sex, men would have sex with men,
Right.
not like sexually, but as an express of power.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Now I was thinking about that for my LGBT family. I was like, if that's true, that kind of makes sense why they would be so prejudiced against the gays, because they would probably think that you are a peasant, you don't have such power to share the fruits that we have,
right.
so we are going to subjugate you forever and keep you guys down.
Okay,
See what I'm saying?
But
so maybe LGBT could have been victimized of such powers out of just greed,
Okay, but
so
they don't
if there are powers like that, then I'm just saying that maybe that power is still around, like what you're saying.
Maybe, but they haven't been victimized lately. They LGBT. They're kind of out in front.
No, because don't powers change their rules because they're fucking hypocrites? Like Masons, wasn't it at one point only white people could be it, but
right.
At some point in was it the 80s or 90s, black people could, and then after that other people could, as long as you have power, whatever you're
right. But I don't. Or something. I think
things change like that according to what would help the longevity of their empire,
Right, but I think right. Okay. So that's just like in any group, that the black people didn't have rights, but then they figured out they can make money off black people, and they gave them rights. So it's like, I don't know if it's about money anymore, dog. I don't know if it's about...
because I have questions, man. Your questions help me get more questions, but it's just like, see, here's what's trippy about me, right? I'm not good with danger I can't see, because if I can't see it, I just wonder about it, and if I just wonder about it makes me like well, I'm not saying danger come to me, no, but I'm just saying that I like knowing exactly who the bad guys are, you know?
Right.
Like someone's trying to mug you. Okay, I know this person's dangerous.
Right.
For me, that's a sense of security,
right,
as opposed to the person I don't know, you know?
Right.
Or the danger I don't know, you know?
Right.
I don't like the danger I don't know, and I don't like that there should be a danger there, because it's just counterproductive in evolution in general.
Right. Okay, so the hidden danger you're not too fond in finding.
No, I'm not too fond of, because then if it's coming closer to all these hunches, these theories, these speculations, if it's starting to look like that stuff is more true because of their actions,
right?
I mean, it's starting to look like that stuff is a little bit more true,
right,
by their actions.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And I'm like, is that what you want? Is that what you are, Warner Brothers? What's going on? You know?
Right. I don't know, but I think it's bigger than Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm like trying to see what's the deal with you guys, because if that is the case, then maybe this whole Snyder Cut and Warner Brothers is our link to that shit of what's really going on, you know?
Right. Like, but do you believe in destiny?
Sometimes.
Okay, so if all of this, let's just say all of this happened for a reason. And
because it's hard, because I in the past I did battle with some depression here and there.
Right.
So I'm sometimes I believe in destiny, sometimes I don't. So that's where that's coming from, just from whatever I've been going through in the past and present.
Okay. Okay. I get you. But all right, let's say like we were saying before, how it was like a test or a you know, a social experiment, right?
Yeah, I
So
can believe that. Hell yeah.
okay, so now it's woken up. Think about this, right? In the 80s, like comic books, you know, were kind of big. Well, they were really big. And it kind of spawned a lot of us. And our parents, maybe our fathers was into it or whatever, whatever, whatever. But think about like, all right, if we say a certain soul or spirit shows up in these children, like they call them star childs or anything like that. And these children, oh man, like these children, like say for instance, remember on the on X-Men when they had the little kids, um, and they were always being watched and tested and blah 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 blah. So now these children are all scattered across the world. Let's just say Star Child that was kind of, you know, we love comics because it makes us feel something inside of us, maybe something that we've experienced in another life or another dimension or some shit like that. And we look at these superheroes and we love them because we are them, and we just were asleep or in the Matrix or kind of like unconscious to the fact of who we are. So now you get somebody like Zach who knows that. And you get somebody like, this whole industry. Comic book movies aren't blowing up because everybody likes the way Ben Affleck look. No, we feel something in it, So now these is like $1 billion industry. But the kids of the 80s are still in love with this shit, right? But but now this social experiment of the Snyder Cut movement has woken up so many of us, right? So now we're on this earth. We're woken up. We feel like warriors. We call each other Spartans. We're meeting people daily, showing love. We calling each other brothers. Blah 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 blah. We're prepared for something, whatever. We're prepared. Now we have a crew. Now the army is assembled. Something's coming, dog. And I think Zack Snyder knew that. And I think Zack Snyder, through his art, woke us up. And I think we have to do something about it. More than just release the Snyder Cut hashtags. I think we have to do something. But I think at the moment, I'm still looking for our target. But I think like you remember when you ever saw the movie 8 Mile when at the end of 8 Mile they were talking shit to him in the freestyle battle, but he knew who he was and he won the freestyle battle by understanding himself, and he dissed his own self, whatever. I think we're coming into an understanding of who we are, and this social experiment on Twitter, on social media, on Vero is watching us like oh, he's waking up, they got a crew, they're assembled, blah 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 blah. And Zack Snyder maybe could just be sitting back rubbing his hands together like, yeah, finally my boys are waking up. Because that shirt, that was definitely a trigger mechanism to wake people up. You don't just look at that shirt and like, oh man, that's a cool black and white shirt,
No, it's not a logo. It's not like some superhero doing a little pose,
right?
Looking sexy or looking gangster. It's like, oh, hey, that's Tupac. It's not like,
right.
Whatever. It's you stop, you look at it, and you think.
Correct.
That's the first thing that happens. Haters, lovers, whatever.
Correct. And what the back say, all the gods are in you. Like he's trying to wake us up. And there's somebody trying to prevent him from waking us up. But even with this shirt, even with his movies, we're seeing it because we are those people who need to wake up. Like you ever notice like a stage 1 civilization or like or what is it, stage 0 civilization, people who hasn't learned to travel the stars yet and get the benefits from the, space travel or whatever. Then you have, they wake up, humanity changes to be a stage 1 civilization where you can travel the stars, get the natural resources from space, blah, 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 blah. So I think we are on that cusp of changing from a stage 0 civilization to a stage 1 civilization. And especially with free energy coming, especially with us figuring out there is some kind of supernatural shit going on, there is maybe aliens out there. I think we are born in this time of Earth that we're figuring out, we're changing. And I think Zack Snyder was helping us do that. What do you think, dog?
I think you're right. Because I think, no, for real.
Right.
Because that quote on the back of his shirt, you got it from a Joseph Campbell book. I believe it's
Right.
Hero of a Thousand Faces.
Right.
And the main theme about that book was the motif of the universal journey of the hero. And then there's certain lessons that the hero faces. Now, the hero itself is also a metaphor for the individual's journey and all the shit we have to go through. There are things that are going to be like stuff that we all go through, like, shit. We grow up, we have parents,
Right.
we have our first fuck, our first love, our first heartbreak,
Right.
our first job. There's certain things that everyone goes through, but then there's also things that are distinctive to you and your truth.
Right.
Your truth is people call destiny also.
Right.
So that is a journey of the individual that we have to embark. Why is that journey so important, man? Why? Because a lot of times we're faced with adversity of people who are succumb to being sheep. Now, when I say sheep, like organized hate groups.
Right.
They're fucking sheep.
Right.
Pretty much, yeah. I'll just use hate groups, any hate group.
Right.
And that you need that for empires, but for even to get to heaven or to be a good person or be a Buddhist or whatever, you need to work on yourself. And then the thing is, with individual self, people have individual thoughts. It's like Gaston in fucking Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
He's all looking at Belle. He's like, Belle, what are you doing? Reading, and soon you'll be thinking.
Right.
Because Gaston's a fucking asshole. He wants his bitches to fall in line. No offense, ladies. Sorry. And he doesn't want the independent thought because then he can't control that.
Right.
That's a constant theme everywhere.
Right.
And I believe a lot of these artists who delve with comic books. Now you have to understand, Zack Snyder, he's a very humble person.
Right.
We all know that. And one thing that made me fall in love with the person who he is was in the making of 300, or it was before Watchmen or during Watchmen, whatever. He said somewhere that he is a student to comic books.
Right.
Usually people are like, hey, I know everything about comics. I know the shit. I know this, da.
Right.
But he's like, I'm still learning.
Right.
I draw from the comic books.
Right.
He's so honest, so sincere right there. Right?
Right.
That's a thinker,
Right.
Anyone who deals in the absolute is easier to become sheep, you know?
Right.
And the more you practice the absolute, the harder it is to admit you're wrong when you are wrong.
Right.
But, admitting wrong, that's what elevates you to another understanding.
Right.
So, whatever. Fuck, I'm forgetting what I was saying. Oh, yeah, so, Zack Snyder, I do not doubt the themes that are in his movies, because the more I watch him,
right,
the more of what's going on, the more they bounce up, right?
Right.
And I'm already over people like, Superman should have saved his dad from the tornado. That's so against it. I was like, relax, you're not even watching the whole thing. There's an idea. There's a meaning behind this. It's a play. I'm just like, God, do you read a book? I'm like, ugh. So anyways, there's this growth of our independent thought that comes from these films, these themes, these warnings. I'll even go back to Babylon 5. Joe Michael Straczynski, who wrote Superman Year One, an amazing comic book that a lot of people are finally saying, oh, look, man, stealing this. I was like, yeah, I told you so. Mm-hmm. So anyways, he has a timeline in his story Babylon 5, and he mapped out Babylon 5's because it takes place in the future in 2258 specifically. And he said he looked at all the technological advances in that are available and all the political shit going on in the world. He mapped out this line of history all the way up to 2258, and he predicted that in the late 90s or early 2000s there would be a huge terrorist attack on American soil,
Right.
because it's in the show Babylon 5.
Right.
Only he guessed it was going to be in San Diego,
Right.
because we have an Air Force base there and it's a popular city.
Right.
It'd be a good content. He designed that, and that's back in 1991, 1992.
Right.
He predicted that there would be a terrorist attack around that time, but in his story it was in San Diego, because when you watch the show, one of the characters says, when you go back to that terrorist site of San Diego, you just realize how fucked up the world is, but then you realize a lot of hope because we survived it, stuff like that.
Right.
And then boom, 9/11 happened. So there's a lot of smart guys in comic books, like adding all these little things in stories for us, right? And
Correct.
Zack Snyder
Correct.
is the first guy. Dude, he was kicking it with Frank Miller when he was on 300.
Right.
He's sitting on the chairs side by side with Frank Miller. Frank Miller, wonderful comic artist. I mean, his stories are a lot different, but that's who he is, that individuality. I don't agree with all the things he does or says, but I love him as a person, and I love how he expresses his truth. It's so
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
And Zack Snyder is one of the first, I want to say maybe few motherfuckers out there I say that with love, who goes to the comics for answers.
Right.
And he drags them. He goes to the source. Why? Because there's a message, there's a meaning, and it enriches his source and his artistic thesis,
Right.
which we're unraveling as time is going on.
Right. And I think Zack Snyder knows that. And look at Alan Moore with Watchmen. That was a weird dude. You ever seen any of his interviews and shit?
Yeah, I don't think he knows what a comb is, but yeah. He's a cool dude though. He's fucking, I hope I can meet him.
Yeah, yeah.
Some plane of existence one day.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is there's a little weirdness surrounding the comic, and it's not like a white picket fence and apple pie, go home, go to work, wake up, drink Coca-Cola, go back, blah blah blah. There's something else, and they I think they put it in the comics as a nonfiction, but I think the stories are somewhat real. I think the stories have some maybe factual pieces to them, especially Watchmen. So I think Zack Snyder knows this, and I think the readers of comics and the lovers of comics and these characters, I think we are the people who's supposed to be waking up, because this time that we're living on Earth is changing. And there needs to be, I'm not going to say an army to stand up against what's coming, but it may be something like that. Or it needs to be people that's aware of what's coming. Like that, like you were saying with the Zack Snyder t-shirt. That's not just like Tupac standing there with a Superman shirt on or some shit like that. That's some deep shit, that people still haven't really unraveled yet. And I mean, it's been close, but I don't think there's still so much to it. But while you unravel it, or like these Snyder shirt references, or like these BVS references, while you're looking for this shit, you're actually studying. You're actually getting smarter. You're actually raising the level of your brain, bro. And it's like there's some people who needed that, but I think we all needed it to a point where we gotta wake the fuck up, and that's Zack Snyder's quote, wake the fuck up. So when we wake the fuck up, I think we're waking up right now, and we're waking up to see that this world isn't what we thought it was. It was never a white picket fence. It was never Coca-Cola and apple pie. It's something more to this world, and I think people like Alan Moore, like Zack Snyder, like other people like that, they're trying to tell us. But I think the people who wants the empire of sheep, they don't want us to know. And it's been like that even with slavery. They didn't want the slaves to read books, because then they'll learn how to get off the slave plantation, And if somebody wanted an empire of slaves, what do? Keep the books away from them. Or the movie Equilibrium, if they wanted an empire of sheep, what do? Burn all the art, burn all the books, keep everything in gray.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Keep everything gray, keep everything, just bland and blah, and that's what they do in New York. They keep everything colored similar in New York because it keeps everybody docile just by looking at a gray color, and it's just too many people all close together for them to be running wild. You know what I mean? So it's like these social experiments been going on since like Tavistock Institute or what they were doing with the Nazi shit. This shit has been going on, and I think it's still going on with like Epstein. If you look at Epstein, some of the shit that he was donating money to, it was all about brain trauma and how to make your brain even more potent after you go through trauma, So I think we've all been through some kind of shit, but I think there's something that we have to waken up to. And I think Zack Snyder was trying to tell us that. And I think the people who want an empire of sheep are bigger than WB, bigger than Disney, and they wanted to prevent us from waking up. That's just my opinion.
I like that opinion because I'm looking for an answer, and that's kind of that is slowly turning into my opinion because of their actions.
Right.
And also when I see, because Screen Rant, I don't know who funds them. I don't know if they're part of Warner Brothers or whatever, but certain shit like that pops up like quickly.
Right.
You're like, whoa. It's like you see a string get pulled from the puppet, and you look up, and where's the puppeteer? You can't see.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I saw that.
Right.
It's like I saw that.
Right. Correct. And we're seeing the pattern, like Screen Rant. We're really onto you. We see the pattern. Who are you working for? That every time we get hype, you come out with another puppet string pulling that kind of makes us take our eyes off the prize,
Because here's the thing: if you're against it, if you don't like it, it's just a fucking movie, right? You just go, oh, I'm not going to see that film. That's it. Right. That's all you have to do. Why are you going out of your way for people requesting a film for them, just for them,
right,
who are not even shaming you, right, and then you go out of your way just to make sure it's closer to not happening.
Right. And they don't stop.
Why?
They don't stop. Even when everybody turns against them and say, yo, y'all are full of shit, they still do it. Like we were talking about like Garza today and his little 10% is blah 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 blah, like he doesn't he's like that guy Wimp Lo on the movie Kung Pao. Where Wimp Lo got beat up and he was thinking he was winning the whole time, and they're like, hey, we trained Wimp Lo to be, that's how Garza is. So it's like I know he's not that dumb. He's doing that shit on purpose, and they're all doing they've man, listen, dog. There are people in our fandom, and I've been saying this. I probably was the first one to hit them boys up, but there are people in our
think you were.
Right, and it's. I'm not saying I'm like Batman or nothing, but remember there was this one scene. I think it was like in an animation. I think it was like Justice League Doom or whatever, when Kara Jor-El was on the Amazonian island, and they were teaching her, and Darkseid was trying to find her. So Darkseid.
Oh, that's Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. That's Supergirl.
Right, yeah. Right. So they sent out a bunch of Doomsdays, and they had everybody fighting. They had the Amazonians fighting. They had Superman fighting. And
that was so 300. That's my favorite movie of all the animated ones.
So then Batman ran away. So they were like, where the fuck is he going? But he knew that was a distraction. He knew that, and he went to go find Kara Jor-El, right? And she was already gone.
Zor-El.
Right. So he knew that Doomsday fight was bullshit. So I'm looking like this Screen Rant Garza bullshit, this 40 Club, that's the Doomsdays. That's, hey, look over here. We're trying to fight you. Blah, blah, blah. Look over here. But there's something else going on over here, dog. So, like I said, If you say I was the first one to call him out, I think I was. I was close to go the first one to go in public with the shit. But I think I'm not taking no credit or trying to be fucking chauvinistic or anything, but something is like Batman in my mind right now that it's like, no, that's not the fight. The fight is over here, and it's something bigger than that. It's something bigger than the 40 Club. It's something bigger than Garza, because there's no way this dude could be that stupid to think, oh, well, they're 10% mean just 25 million to do VFX. Like, dude, why do you even say that? That's like the dumbest shit in the world, but everybody gets caught up on that. And I had to tweet him back, but I think the fight is over here, dog. I think it's somewhere else, you know? And it's if I'm being like Batman, maybe I'm being like Batman, whatever. But I think those guys are doing that shit on purpose. And I don't know who they work for or who they're getting funded by or anything like that. But I think the 40 Club is just here to distract us. And I think they've always been here to distract us since day one. I think we just didn't see it, you know?
I agree. I can see that because I don't know who exactly is the 40 Club, and because I hear people when they start talking about it sounds like a whole bunch of he said she said shit,
right?
And I get that from a lot of group guys, and then when I found out through a bunch of you guys that they're 40 Club, I was like, oh, okay. And wasn't last week I was like, hey, I'm part of the 40 Club.
Yeah, because you thought it was 40. Age.
I thought it was for the people of the 80s and 90s generation, but apparently no. It's a 40 for a number of billion of something, how much it
40
takes
million.
or whatever to be done.
Right.
And then once I found that out, I was like, that is an assumption altogether. And
right.
I don't know. I just can't be part of a crowd that's so strong in their opinion of a he said, she said when they didn't know the person who said what they said, or even if they said it at all and they're speaking for them, who they are, not them.
Right. But look at the pattern. Look at the pattern, dude. And we can check it out next time, too. Every time we get hype. Remember?
I just saw the sun go down when I was talking to you, man.
Oh, man. That's dope. So check this out.
No, this whole time. I was like, dang, it's dark.
Yeah, we've passed the record for the longest interview ever. So we're going to wrap this up soon. So you just give
hope it's not boring.
No, hell no. It's a great interview, man. That's why I love having you on, you know, because you're smart. You're smart as fuck. A lot of people...
I don't know. I just feel like you helped me fine-tune my questions.
No, check this out. Like, Go Deep has different levels. Sometimes people are dealing with shit and they like to talk to me about it. Or sometimes, like when me and you come on, I don't know if we're dealing with shit. We probably are dealing with shit, but we don't address Go Deep like that. We address it like problem, reaction, solutions. That's how me and you talk. And I like that too. I don't know about me being like Dr. Phil or anything like that, but that part is cool because it seems like a lot of people that touch people's heart when I talk to people that way. But I like.
No, you do. It's good. You never talk to me like that.
No, because you never you never tell me about anything. But no, I like this type of Go Deep too. I like when we really delve into shit, and I think you're one of the guys that can do that. And I think you're just smart as fuck. And I don't know if iron sharpen iron, but you make me think of even more crazier shit also, you know?
Oh, okay, good. Now I feel better because you make me think of shit. So that's why we talk.
All right, so give a shout out because it's like 11:45 and I still want to put this out tonight. So shout out everybody.
Oh, you gangster, bro. All right. Shout out to Ramesh De Silva. I think I'm gonna see you in 5 days, something like that. I'm be going to Sri Lanka.
Right.
So shout out to him. I want to give a shout out to my sister. She's a writer. AM Livers. You can find her on Twitter.
Right.
AMLY V for Vendetta to the E to the R to the S. I got mad love for you, and she's cool. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I got more questions. I should do shout outs in the beginning.
All right.
Because I'm still thinking about our shit. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for having me on, bro. It's always good talking to you and fine tuning this. I mean, really, I just talked to you because I want one of those cuddles, man.
Shut the hell up.
Whatever. I see what you're about. I'm just kidding. Nothing but mad love, man. So thanks for having me on. It's
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I gotta shout you out too, man. You're cool as fuck. And I remember when, you were kind of unknown, and then you just blew up overnight. I remember I was in the PCC Project Comic Con room, and everybody was talking about California and Southern California, and I looked around. I was like, "Yo, is Kojay in here?" And they were like, "No, who is Kojay?" And then when I brought you in there, then it was like, "Oh shit!" You just instantly went from, "Hey, I'm not planning on anything, but I can do anything you need me to." And now, Kojay, you're probably one of the biggest stars in the movement, dog. Seriously.
Really? No, I still feel the same. I don't know.
Nah, hell no. Hell no. You're out there doing kicks on Screen Rant or whatever. And everybody's like, "Oh shit, who's this guy in the mask?" That's fucking Kojay.
I want that guy away from me.
All right, Bo. So I'm
I was thinking on my feet.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit this shit up, and I'll try to have it out tonight. It's not gonna take me long. I won't say that much, and I won't do that much special shit. So I'll tag you in it. I'll tag you in it. I mean, the conversation.
I appreciate you, man.
The conversation was so good. I don't have to add any fluff or anything like that to it.
It's your beautiful show. Do what you gotta do, man. Express what you feel is true, and it's all good.
All right, Bo. I appreciate you.
No problem. We'll continue with more questions because questions are all I have.
All right, so shit. I work days now, so if you ever want to just jump on, let me know. We can do part 2.
Oh shit, you're on my schedule now.
Hell yeah. That's why I've been putting them out so much, because once I get off, I can just do a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
Word. All right, homie. So I'll let you later.
Sounds good, brother.
Peace.
Hey.